If you ever plan on driving to Spain, don't do it at night. About a week ago, I was driving down towards Spain. It's a long trip, and normally it takes 2 days unless you drive straight through. I didn't want to stop, so I decided to just keep going overnight. The drive started out normal. I had music playing pretty loud, and I'd packed a cooler full of energy drinks to keep myself awake. I remember feeling good about how quickly I was making progress. When I passed the sign saying I was entering France, I actually smiled. I thought I was ahead of schedule. Not long after that, the sun started to set. That part confused me a little, because I'd left earlier in the day than I remembered, but I didn't think much of it. What stood out more was how empty the motorway was. I drive that route fairly often, and there are usually at least a few cars around. That night, there was no one, just me. I wasn't tired yet, so I kept going. After a while, I realized how dark it had gotten. The sun didn't just set, it felt like it dropped all at once. The darkness was thick. Even with my high beams on, I could barely see more than a few meters ahead. It made me nervous, so I pulled over onto the shoulder and turned on my hazard lights. My plan was to wait for another car to pass so I'd feel a bit better about continuing. I sat there for over 20 minutes. Not a single vehicle went by. I cracked my window to get some air. That's when my engine shut off. Everything died at once. Engine, lights, radio. Even the dashboard went dark. I tried turning the key again, but nothing happened. I tapped the steering wheel, then the dash, but the car was completely dead. That's when I heard a noise. It was quiet at first, a light tapping sound. It reminded me of fingernails tapping against plastic. It seemed like it was coming from the front of the car, somewhere under the hood. I was just about to open my door when I froze. There was a hand hanging over the top of my open window. I panicked and scrambled into the passenger seat. The hand was pale, almost white, and the fingers were tapping against the inside of the door. After a few seconds, I tried to calm myself down. I thought maybe someone had pulled over to help me without me noticing, but I knew that didn't make sense. No other car had passed. I called out, asking who was there. The tapping stopped. The hand slowly dropped out of sight. I sat there, barely breathing, waiting for something else to happen. Nothing did. I looked in my mirrors and through the rear window, but I couldn't see anyone. Then I heard the tapping again, right next to my ear. I turned my head fast, but there was nothing there. When I looked closer at the window, I noticed fingerprints in the condensation on the outside of the glass. I moved back to the driver's seat and tried to roll the window up. It wouldn't work. Then I heard footsteps crunching in the gravel beside the car. I checked my mirrors again. Still nothing. Suddenly, my headlights came on by themselves. They lit up the road ahead, and standing right in front of my car was a person, or what looked like one. They didn't have a head. The body was just standing there with one arm out, thumb raised, like it was hitchhiking. Then it started walking toward me. I tried to start the car. The key wouldn't turn. I tried unlocking the doors, but nothing worked. The thing moved slowly, almost dragging itself. My windows still wouldn't close. I slid into the passenger seat again, not knowing what else to do. That's when I noticed details I wish I hadn't. The clothes were torn and dirty. The jumper was gray and full of holes. The trousers had dark marks across them that looked like tire tracks. It looked like it had been run over. When it reached into the car, I kicked it as hard as I could. It stumbled back but came forward again. I kicked it a second time and it fell. I used that moment to climb out through the window and run toward the back of my car.
That's when I felt it.
A crushing pressure in my head. My vision blurred, and my body felt like it was burning. I couldn't move at all. I could see the body standing up again and coming toward me, slow and steady. Then just as suddenly, I could move again. I ran around to the other side of the car and jumped back inside. I don't know why I tried the key again, but I did. This time, the engine started. I didn't think. I just drove. I sped down the motorway trying to calm my breathing. I told myself it was over. Then I saw it again, standing on the side of the road. I checked my clock. It read 0 row. I kept driving. A few minutes later, it was there again. Thumb out, stepping toward the road like it wanted to be hit. I swerved around it. When I checked my mirror, I thought I saw it sitting in my back seat. When I turned around, the seat was empty. The next time I saw it, it was holding something. As I passed, I realized it was holding its own head. The face was smiling. Something heavy landed on my roof. I heard movement above me. Then I looked to my left, and the head was right there, being held through my open window. It was laughing. The head was thrown inside the car and bit into my leg. I screamed and nearly lost control of the vehicle. I hit it as hard as I could until it let go. I grabbed it and threw it out the window. The darkness lifted instantly. I saw the head rolling down the road in my mirror. The body slid off my roof and disappeared behind me. I didn't stop driving until I reached a town. I checked into a small hotel. The woman at the desk said I looked awful and asked if I was okay. I told her what happened. She laughed, then paused, and said she'd heard something similar once before. That the police were called, but nothing was ever found.
I barely slept that night.
In the morning, before I got back into my car, I noticed a fresh handprint on my driver's side window. I'm only driving during the day now.